so Tim Pool here is claiming, he said, last night a vehicle approached our property. This is, I guess, in West Virginia, and opened fire. No one was hurt. Our security team is reviewing the incident. We'll be relaying the report to appropriate law enforcement. This is the price we pay for speaking out against evil. But like, guys, I don't even know what this means about like approached our property. I mean, you know, there's a fence, okay? If there is like, it's in West Virginia, like you're not getting anywhere near the house, okay? So I don't know what it even means. Somebody drove by and fired some guns. But again, we're seeing a rash of this. We're seeing a rash of right-wingers claiming they're victims of left-wing violence. Okay, Benny Johnson, they threaten my family. You know, the TPUSA guys are saying, oh, we need to have armed guards. But guys, lately, they've had issues with their own people. Trump got shot at by a Republican kid from a Republican family. Charlie Kirk got shot by a Mormon kid from a MAGA family, okay? A kid that has no ties to leftism, no ties to leftist activism or groups. He has a homophobic mom who like said her son turned to the left, but like, why are we gonna believe her? She doesn't know anything. Yeah, the pipe bomber they just arrested was also a Trumpy. I mean, it's like a constant right-wing violence. And not only that, guys, you ready for this? Now, Candace Owens, the 𝗙𝗟𝗏𝗧𝗏, the QAnon sort of like freaks, and the 4chaners are angry at these guys. They are, dude. The 4chan people are totally upset about, you know, they think TPUSA and they think the mainstream MAGA people are covering up Charlie Kirk's death because of, you know, Candace Owens. And again, though, Tim Pool lives in rural West Virginia, a private compound in West Virginia. And what's more, if this did happen, which we don't know if it did, we don't know what happened. I mean, if he's out in rural West Virginia, there are plenty of people that drive around shooting guns in rural West Virginia. I mean, dude, that shit used to happen in rural Wisconsin. People would go out and get drunk and shoot guns, dude. I participated in that behavior. I mean, without the drunkenness, I was too young. But we used to go out into the woods and shoot guns. That was just not uncommon, okay? That type of shit, people driving around in their car, shooting that shit, happens all the fucking time, you know? But now, you know, they're creating this to be some type of political situation. And then everybody piles into this. This guy says Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Myself and 15 other conservative journalists and influencers were swatted. A vehicle arrived outside of Tim Pool's property and opened fire. Things are out of control. Okay, look at this. Somebody stormed up to Tim Pool's property and opened gunfire, right? I mean, again, they're jacking this up and, right, they have security gate, they have armed guards. Like, come on, man. But now, the thing about this is most likely, if they are people shooting at Tim Pool, I guarantee you they're right-wingers, guys. Okay? I guarantee you they're right-wingers. There's no leftists that are out shooting Tim Pool. I mean, he literally just went to town on Candace Owens. You know this is, if it happened, it is right-wingers, right? And if it didn't happen, it didn't happen, okay? But if it happened, it was definitely right-wingers. But they're going to try and feed this into some bullshit left-wing violence. I mean, dude, can we just look at Indiana here for a sec? Okay, because you ready for this, guys? Look at Indiana. Right here, dude. This is a list of Indiana Republicans. Governor Mike Braun, Senator Rod Bray, the Senate President Pro Tem, Senator Greg Good, Senator Spencer Deary, Senator Rick Niermeyer, Senator Dan Dernalk, Senator Linda Rogers, Senator Andy Zay, Senator Jean Lysing, who reported a pipe bomb threat at her home on Saturday, November 29th. Okay, all of these state legislators in Indiana, state senators, and the governor of Indiana have either received pipe bombs, swattings, or credible threats to their life because they're not voting for the new maps. They have been instructed by Trump to gerrymander their map, and they don't want to because they know it's like not legal. Really, it's unconstitutional. They know they're doing it just to favor Trump. They're going to disenfranchise a whole bunch of Democratic voters in the state who are already pretty disenfranchised in Indiana. And so these people have refused to do it, and they've been getting bomb and death and swattings from their own fucking party, okay? Threats from MAGA to do Trump's MAGA redistricting bidding, or we're going to hurt you. Dude, isn't that crazy? That's nuts. And then you had also, this isn't a threat of violence, but if you look at what TPUSA was doing yesterday. Yesterday, they were in Indiana. And look at what it says. It says Hoosiers are rallying around fair maps. So they're saying fair maps. Stop Democrat manipulation, fair districts for Indiana, but the districts are going to be 0 Democrats. It's going to be 9 Republican seats and 0 Democrat seats. How is that Democrat manipulation? That's not Democrat manipulation. That's not a fair seat. That means like 35% of Indiana is going to have no voting representation whatsoever. Okay? None. Right? Isn't that crazy? Dude, but look at this shit. So Turning Point Action went there and they basically pressured the Indiana House to pass those maps. So now it goes to the Senate where all these people have been getting death threats. And they're basically saying you have to redistrict Indiana or we're going to off you. Dude, isn't that insane? And again, though, this is the arm of Turning Point Action that is now getting directly into this Indiana politics. Like they're not just going around campuses talking to students anymore. They are actively going and sort of pressuring legislators to do the MAGA regime's bidding. Okay? And this has been infused with money, especially since Charlie Kirk died. Okay? Isn't that crazy? And so Turning Point Action and TPUSA was all in on this, guys. And then look at what they're doing, guys. They're going to, look at how young these kids are. They're going to middle schools, okay, with Riley Gaines spreading transphobia. You notice something about this middle school, guys? You notice how just about everybody in that photo is white, right? They're going to all white middle schools, preaching transphobia, misogyny, Christian nationalism under the guise of I love America. I love white America. Dude, it's pretty gnarly, guys. We are having a white supremacy, like religious-based white supremacy fucking revival here on the backs of Trump. Dude, what are they screaming? Dude, I don't even know what they're screaming. Club America, they call it, dude. Dude, this shit is like creepy, dude. This shit is creepy, bro. Dude, white Bible eyes, bro. Oh my God. Dude, it is like a white Bible eye death cult. Dude, right? But you see in every of these photos, in all of these photos, there have been like 5 people of color in the entire thing. Dude, it is white supremacy, mostly coming from wealth in white, rural, deeply Christian areas, right? With the occasional, dark-skinned person, like few and far between. Bro, yeah. They're weaponizing, guys. They are weaponizing. But they are, the thing that's scary about this, guys, is they're trying to put this shit in every school, okay? They're trying, their goal, Okay? It is like a virus. Yeah, their goal, TPUSA's goal, is to have a TPUSA funded chapter, okay, that will be linked to the national organization that will have money funded to convert and to spread the message of misogyny, racism, and transphobia and Trumpism, MAGA politics. They want to put one in every middle school in America and every high school in America. That is their goal. That kids, by the time they get into middle school and start getting hormonal and start sort of like being deeply socialized, there will be a TPUSA white Christian nationalist chapter in there to both do what they're doing in University of Oklahoma, where if there's a gender non-conforming or LGBTQ teacher, they're going to get them fired, right? They're going to try and get rid of anybody who's woke from that school and to get the kids into the religious fold as young as possible, boss. That's their goal. They want to groom every kid in America. Dude, it's nuts. And what's more is it looks like, you know, Grok and Facebook and Twitter and, you know, TikTok, after Larry Ellison gets control, they're going to try to help this conversion happen. Like I mean, dude, you know, I don't like take seriously a lot of this Civil War talk, but like, guys, if we do have a Civil War in America, I feel like it's going to be white Christians versus everybody else, bro. Right? That's what it's going to be. To all the Republicans who are not MAGA, this was the night that they approved that 9-0 map in Indiana. And again, there are some non-MAGA Republicans who they don't want to gerrymander this map because they know it's not fair and they know it's political for Trump. And so I said to all the non-MAGA Republicans, if you look at the way they're bullying Indiana, they're swatting, bomb threatening the legislators of Indiana to do the MAGA's bidding and rig the maps, or we're going to fuck you up. Okay? And they're going to take away the voting power of 35% of the state of Indiana with threats, right? You take away all those Democrat voters' voting power, or we're going to like blow you up. And I'm like, if you see that happening to the Democrats, they're going to do it to you. At some point, if you're not a hardcore MAGA that believes in that extremism, they're going to threaten you and they're going to disenfranchise you too, right? Like they call people rhinos and right? It's like, this isn't just a Democrat threat. Right now, it's aimed at LGBTQ and Democrats. But if they take all the power away from the Democrats, they will then try to root out the conservatives inside their movement that don't agree with their bullshit strong arm Christian Taliban. Like there are some Republicans who don't want a Christian dictatorship. We need to think about wiping out MAGA, right? We need it to be like everybody against the extremists. And I think we need to figure out how to like make that happen, right? And I don't know what that looks like because, you know, I thought there were a bunch of non-MAGA Republicans in Congress, but it turns out that there were only a couple. There's really only Thomas Massie and maybe Rand Paul, but even them, it seems like they agree with most of the MAGA shit. But like, dude, this is fucked up. Like if we don't stop these extremists, there's going to be a Bible shoved up every one of our asses. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.